Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Monday, and it's another very happy Monday if you are an Arsenal fan. 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League after the latest round of Premier League fixtures. A 1-0 win for Arsenal at Leeds yesterday, combined with Manchester City getting done at Anfield, and there's suddenly a little bit of breathing space, if you can call it that, at this stage of the season between Arsenal and Manchester City. 9 wins from their opening 10 games in the Premier League, 27 points from a possible 30. Arsenal's best ever start to a Premier League season after 10 games. You just got to give an awful lot of credit to everyone involved for what they are doing so far this season. Still a long way to go, which I think every Arsenal fan kind of needs tattooed on their arms at the moment, because I think it's what everyone's saying when anyone talks about the possibility of a title, being in contention for the title. But, you know, as it stands, 10 games, 9 wins, 27 points. It's just been fantastic. No one could have predicted it at the start of the season. And like I said, everyone just deserves an awful lot of credit. It's so much has kind of come together for Arsenal to be able to enjoy this start, and they're reaping the rewards for what was a really good summer, both in terms of recruitment-wise, pre-season, everything that happened at Colney. You know, they're reaping the rewards this season for it, and hopefully, touch wood, long may that continue. I wasn't at Leeds yesterday. I had family commitments, and I'd had it booked off for ages. I wasn't even able to watch it because well, it wasn't on TV, and honestly, trying to sort of keep track of it on Twitter, those last 20 minutes were absolutely horrendous. I've almost forgotten what that's like because I'm at every game pretty much. And to actually not even be able to watch it on TV, oh god, it was painful just waiting for it. When it flashed up the penalty at the end as well, it was just like, oh no. Thankfully VAR went Arsenal's way, and you know, in the end it was just a really good 1-0 win. Now yes, the performance, as I said, I haven't seen the whole game, but from the highlights and from people who were there that I've spoken to, you know, it wasn't a great performance. But to be honest, that honestly does not matter. A Sunday away game, tricky Sunday away game on the back of a really tricky Thursday European away game. You just take the result and run and get out of there and have 3 points. And Arsenal have done it, and they did it yesterday. They had a moment of quality in the first half, scored a really good goal from Bukayo Saka. On the whole, defended well. I had to ride their luck, no doubt about it. Some decisions went their way. You know, Leeds missing a penalty. It just happens at some stage of the season. You have these kind of wins, and if you want to achieve anything at the end of the season, you've got to dig in. You've got to somehow get out of a really difficult away game with 3 points, and that's what Arsenal did yesterday. I know there's been lots of talk about the decisions, the Gabriel incident at the end, but ultimately I think, you know, you can't really complain. I don't think even a Leeds fan can complain about what happened with that penalty in injury time. It was a clear foul by Bamford on Gabriel. Yes, Gabriel was a bit silly kicking out the way he did, but he'd been fouled, and so you can't give a penalty for that. You know, thankfully VAR was involved, and they did get it working, because it would have been a nightmare. I'm not sure the game would have gone ahead, to be honest, if they didn't get it working. I think there are rules now that you have to have it in place. So if that delay at the start of the game, if they hadn't have resolved it, I think the game might have had to be suspended. But yeah, ultimately it worked for Arsenal, and Saka's goal was enough to get the win. You could see by Mikel Arteta's reaction, the players' reaction at full time. They knew how big that win is. You know, they knew they didn't play well. They weren't at their best, but they found a way to win. They dug in. Like I said, they did produce a moment of quality in the first half. Really good goal by Saka. Great finish. Lovely pass by Odegaard to set him up. They got their noses in front, and then they held on by any which way after in the second half, when Leeds really put them under pressure. And it's just a really good away win, that, and made even better when you see what happened at Anfield after the game against Manchester City. And yeah, who would have thought after 10 games you were looking at Manchester City's results at the moment and getting happy when they lose, because it means Arsenal move further ahead in the Premier League table. It's yeah, it's been great, and please let me know what you guys thought of the performance in the comments below. Like you, I mean, I'm sure lots of you probably saw it more than I did, because it wasn't on over here on TV, so we were kind of feeding off scraps and looking at the highlights. But yeah, really good win. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. Obviously, Gabriel came in for a bit of criticism for what happened at the end, and it's easy to criticise Gabriel at the moment because he's made a few mistakes recently. But I think when you look at it yesterday, and you look at his stats, you look at his numbers, you speak to people who are actually at the game, Gabriel had a really good performance yesterday. Yes, it was silly, the little kick out at the end. Could have got himself sent off and then he would have been banned for a few games. And had VAR not get involved, thankfully they did, he could have given away a penalty. So that was silly. But take that out of it, and I think that's kind of Gabriel in a nutshell, isn't it? Because the performance-wise, for the 90 minutes, he played great. You look at it, 100% aerial duels won, 9 duels contested, throughout the game, 8 duels won, 4 clearances, 4 blocks, 3 tackles, 3 interceptions, 80 touches, 90% pass accuracy. It's a fantastic all-round defensive performance from Gabriel. And then there was just that little bit at the end where he got a little bit hot under the collar with the whole Bamford thing, and it could have ended up costing Arsenal, could have cost him as well, because he could have been banned for a few games. And it's easy to criticise Gabriel because he is the one who's made a couple of quite high profile errors recently, but you just look at his actual defensive performance and it's very good. And that's why it's just, he's still such a young defender. I think it's really easy to forget that. But you look at, he's got all the tools there, and you see when you watch him for like 89 minutes out of 90 minutes, you can see just how good he is and he can be. It's just about kind of eradicating that one moment of rashness, that one little slight error of judgment where you lose your head or something. Get that out of your game, and you've got a top quality all-round defender there. And he played very, very well by all accounts yesterday, him and Aaron Ramsdale, and it was really good to see Ramsdale play that well. Made some big saves. Kind of, you could see he was winding up Leeds fans as well. He was kind of back to that Ramsdale we saw in the first half of last season, when he was just absolutely exceptional. And there has been a few errors when it comes to Ramsdale, certainly in the last 6 months or so, but it was really good to see him performing like that, and the sort of the character he showed and the personality he had on the pitch and the saves he made, more importantly. It kind of reminded me that the Ramsdale who came in and just did so well during those early months when he joined the club. Another goal for Saka, which is good as well. Took it really, really well. He had a slow start to the season, certainly from a goal scoring point of view, but you look at what he's doing now and the numbers he's serving up in the last few games, and it's back to the Saka of old. I mean, there was a fantastic week for him last week. 2 goals against Liverpool, winning goal in all 3 games that Arsenal played last week, away in Europe, yesterday at Elland Road, the penalty against Liverpool. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that in the space of 7 days, can you? 3 winning goals, 4 goals overall. And Arsenal just need Saka at his very best, because he's just such a talent. It's easy to almost forget how good Saka is, at how young he is. We're so used to it now from doing what he does that you can almost come a little bit complacent, I think, when you think of Bukayo Saka and exactly just how important he is, how vital, how good quality he has on his ball. You just become accustomed to it, but I don't think any of us should. I think we should all really appreciate every single week and every single game exactly what Arsenal have got in their hands with Bukayo Saka. Just a huge talent, and it's why the club want to get him signed up. It's why the fans are desperate for him to get signed up, and hopefully at some point in the relatively near future we will hear that he is signed up, because if Arsenal can get Saka tied down now to a really long-term contract on the wages, let's face it, that he deserves, then it'll be a huge thing for the club going forward, and it'll just put any sort of worry to rest. And these are the sort of players that absolutely you have to build around. Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, Odegaard, those type of players, Jesus. You just got to build the future around those players, because they're so young, they're only going to get better, and they're just absolutely integral to what Arteta is doing at Arsenal. And yeah, it was great to see him. Like I said, great to see Gabriel performing the way he did, and Ramsdale as well. I think those 3 the star of the show at Elland Road. I thought it was a big call by Mikel Arteta. The left back was always going to be the really interesting call when it comes to a starting 11. Yesterday he went with Tomiyasu again. He left Tierney on the bench. Now Tierney had been speaking to the media ahead of the game, and he spoke really well, and he spoke about being left out against Liverpool and how Arteta told him. And it was interesting comments from Tierney, I thought, because Arteta made it clear to Tierney that it was a tactical decision, that it was because of Salah. He wanted to switch Tommy over there to deal with Salah, which he did so well in that Liverpool game. And he sort of listens to that comments, and you think, well, he's going to come back in then, Tierney, because if it was just a purely tactical choice to play Tommy against Liverpool, then Tierney's probably going to come back in for Leeds, because Leeds haven't got Mo Salah. They don't have that same sort of threat, and you don't really need to play a right-footed right back over at left back for that game. But he did. He went with Tomiyasu again, leaving Tierney on the bench. So didn't overly surprise me, because Tierney played on Thursday night, which you kind of looked at that and thought, is he going to play Tierney Thursday night on a plastic artificial pitch and then play him on Sunday with his known injury issues? Perhaps not. So it didn't overly surprise me to see Tomiyasu there, but it's an interesting one. It's like if Zinchenko doesn't come back for this weekend for the trip to Southampton, is it going to be Tomiyasu again at left back? How long is that going to go on for? And for a player like Kieran Tierney, who's such an important player, he's such a senior player almost. It's not long ago that we were all expecting Tierney probably to be Arsenal's next captain, and now suddenly he's finding himself out of the team behind Zinchenko after his arrival, and now he's finding himself out of the team behind a right back who's been moved over to cover at left back. And it's a difficult situation for Tierney. It's one he's going to get his head down. We know how professional Tierney is. He gets on with it, and you could see in that interview he gave ahead of the game at Elland Road how professional he was, and the way it was really. He took it very, very well. He spoke very well, but you wonder how long that's going to last. If that's going to continue, it's going to be it's a tricky situation, this for Tierney. I'm sure he'll play on Thursday night against PSV, no doubt about that. I'm sure he'll come in for that one. And at the moment, Arteta's just having to juggle things around. He's having to rotate his squad. He's trying to keep everyone fit. It's a shame Arsenal have got another away game on Sunday at Southampton after a Thursday night game. At least the Thursday night game this time is at home, which is going to make a big, big difference. But still, it'd be nice to have another home game on Sunday. You always want that after a Thursday night game. But Southampton next, then it's Forest after that. If Arsenal can just keep this run going, keep getting the wins, they're going to be in a very, very strong position heading into the World Cup in just a few weeks' time now. Big night for a couple of Arsenal players today. It's Ballon d'Or. Obviously, and in terms of, there's no one really up for the the main Ballon d'Or, obviously, in terms of senior men, but for two of the women are for the Ballon d'Or feminine, which obviously Miedema and Beth Mead. So really good luck to them. Be fantastic. I mean, both of them have had brilliant seasons. Miedema, which she continues to do in WSL, and her numbers are just utterly ridiculous. Beth Mead, just a historic season for her. What she did with Arsenal, what she did in the Euros with England, she's going to have to be up the top of the running for that award, you would think. So good luck to both of those, and Saka's up for the Kepa Trophy award as well, which is for the 21 and unders, best player in Europe. We'll wait and see how he gets on with that, but big nights for those three at the awards ceremony. So good luck to them. And Arsenal now this week, sort of agenda-wise, they've got the press conference on Wednesday ahead of PSV, which, remember, if you're going to PSV on Thursday, it's a 6 p.m. kickoff for the rearranged game. Everyone else is going to be in Premier League action this weekend. This midweek. Arsenal, of course, aren't, because their game against City has been rescheduled because of the PSV match. Press conference on Wednesday is open training ahead of that as well. The Invincibles, once again, that record's protected. I think we all wait for it every year, don't we? Waiting for that last team to lose their unbeaten record. It happened yesterday, that brilliant match at Anfield. Fantastic second half. It was just so dramatic. Had it all. And brilliant goal by Salah. Oh, so good. I mean, poor from Cancelo, but still brilliant by Salah. And that means Arsenal, the Invincible record goes on, which is always a very good thing. You probably saw my tweet after the game, after the full-time whistle at Anfield. I love it. It's one of my favourite tweets that I send each year of Arsene Wenger holding that gold trophy whenever no one else can break the record. Let me know what you guys thought of anything you've seen in this video today or heard. Your thoughts on the win, thoughts on Gabriel, thoughts on Ramsdale, Saka, who should play at left back, Tierney or Tomiyasu. Let me know anything you agree with, disagree with in this video. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Do have a very good start to the week. I'll be back to have all the build-up as we gear up towards Arsenal v PSV on Thursday night. Speak to you soon, everyone.